So let's look at body composition a little bit here. We'll see what we get through and probably stop somewhere along in here. Let's look at body composition. What is it? Well, body composition is just what I have here underlined. It is the measurement of body tissues. All right. And we really measure it as body fat. We don't really say, well, that's how much lean body mass you have. It's all about being negative, right? You want to be negative to ensure that you maybe do something different with your life. I don't really know. It's fascinating what we call things. Okay. But that's what the expression of percent body fat is. It's a measurement of body fat. Okay. We have, and that's a beautiful picture of fat, of adipose cells. That's what they look like inside your skin. When we look at percent body fat, there are two types that go into what is our total body fat. We have excess fat, which is excess adipose, and that's what it looks like. And the more you put in, these cells, they can only get so big and then they divide. And if you keep putting in those excess calories, these white little fat cells here, these adipocytes, just continue to increase in number and increase in size. As you start to try to get rid of those, as you pull out those fat stores to use for calories, those cells get smaller, but they don't go away. And that's why they talk about really trying to maintain a normal, healthy body weight at a much younger age, so you don't get all these excess body fat cells. There's also essential fat. You need a little bit, okay? You need a little bit. You don't want to go 0% body fat. Your body needs a little bit of fat. A little bit of fat is perfectly fine. You have a little bit of fat around your heart, a hell of a lot of fat around your heart, and now you're going to succumb to angina, myocardial infarction, heart attack. It becomes metabolically different. So there is essential, and it's around, the men somewhere in the ballpark, like 5 to 7% is essential. And for women, I think it's around 10 to 12 off the top of my head. So there is some essential fat. And that's what is needed for survival. You got to consume fats. We've talked about that. Nervous system needs it. Hormones need it. We need it to make them. We also have brown fat. And this is white fat, I guess I should say. This is white fat. There's also a thing called brown fat. And the difference is honestly the color, but brown fat is metabolically active. What does that mean? It's burning calories. White fat does not. It just stores crap and does nothing else for us. But brown fat is metabolically active. It's burning calories. We have a little bit of brown fat. I think it's primarily really in our neck region is where we have it as adults. But as a baby, you had a lot of it. Keeps you warm. Baby doesn't, they can't regulate their body temperature yet. And that brown fat is what helps to keep them warm. Now, I mean, good Lord. I mean, they're not, you can't take them out on a winter day without 7,000 blankets. But it is metabolically active. It is burning calories. It is keeping them warm a little bit. Those who are of Inuit descent, Inuits have a ton of brown fat. And it's metabolically active and it keeps them warm. You can you can change some of that white fat into brown. You're not going to change all of it. It's called a bright, B-R-I-T-E adipocyte. Through different training methods, You can get some white fat to become brownish in nature, where that it does have some metabolic activity. It's just a browning process, basically, is what it is. And so you can turn some of these white cells through different training, like HIIT, Tabata, some of those type of training methods, and you can get some of that white fat to turn into a little bit of brown action. And so you can burn more calories longer throughout the day, especially after your exercise. If you've ever driven a car, right? Let's say you go from your house to campus, you shut the engine off, you feel your hood, it's really hot. You're like, damn, that's hot. Come back a couple hours later, it's still warm. Maybe come back 3 hours later. Okay, now it's not too bad. Okay. But hell, I mean, it was still hot. What's that heat? That's calories being burned. And different training techniques allow you to burn calories over a much longer period of the day. Doing HIIT and Tabata training allow you to, I think in some studies I've seen, burn calories upwards of 8 hours longer. 8 hours. So just doing that type of training, you can sit there and be burning calories all day long while you're just sitting there studying. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Yes, it would. Why is it important? Again, we want to know how much body mass we have because we want to try to prevent things. So we have this kind of two component model, fat mass and fat-free mass. This is what fat-free mass is, guys. Okay. This is what fat-free mass is. Again, we do it to assess our health condition. Okay. Where we're at healthy-wise. Fat-free mass is everything that's not fat. What's everything that's not fat? Well, it's water, bones, muscles, your organs, teeth. All that is fat mass. And obviously, there are going to be a multitude of ways to figure out what you have. And some are a little bit more effective than others. Some you can't do. Some of these I wish I could do in my house. That would be awesome. But I'm sick in the head like that. I'd probably do it every day and drive myself insane. Fat is over a number of different locations in the body, and we have some of it right underneath our skin, and that's what subcutaneous means. Sub means below. And cutaneous means skin. Okay. So this is the adipose that's just right underneath the skin. It's cool. It's there for a reason. It's there to insulate. It's there to protect. It's there to really allow the skin on top to adhere to the underlying layers below. So it does a lot of fantastic things. So, I mean, it's cool, man. It's good. Visceral fat is that fat that's around the organs. Visceral means organs. Viscera means organs. And again, just a little bit around is perfectly fine. Right there is called the greater omentum. That's this kind of this visceral fat right there. And a little, that's fine. It helps to absorb fat soluble stuff out of the digestive tract. It helps to transport things around the abdominal cavity there. It's cool. It helps to hold everything in place. Everything underneath that visceral fat in that picture right there, that's all the small intestine. You got the duodenum, and then the jejunum, and then the ileum. Okay. So subcutaneous fat and visceral fat are not evil. They're necessary. You need a little bit of those things. Perfectly fine. It's just when we get in excess. We have to remember, and I know we've talked about secretions earlier in the semester, but I mean, adipose can almost essentially act like an endocrine organ. An endocrine organ secretes hormones directly into the blood and affects different parts of the body. Well, adipose fat makes adipokines. These are a group of hormones, and they can alter how our body metabolizes energy. It can affect our feeding behavior. Do I feel hungry? Do I feel not hungry? So it's only the issue that we get when we get in excess of these things. And here just shows kind of some common areas associated. I don't know if I'd actually have this picture on the exam. I doubt it. But men generally have their excess fat, and you've seen everybody, you see people walk around, so you know where people generally hold their fat. Men generally hold their fat in their abdomen. Love handles. Kind of that meat of the leg where it meets the hips. The butt. Well, so does everybody. So do women. But women, it's more on the butt and the thighs. Men, waist, butt. It's referred to as really a pear-shaped and an apple-shaped. You obviously, breast tissue are going to hold a higher amount of fat. With women, it's generally associated as a pear-shaped. For men, associated as an apple shape.